The wild nature of Alaska makes it unique for anglers and visitors in general. Only Kamchatka in Russia and a few other places compare in terms of wildlife, remoteness, and trout fishing. For fishing specifically, sharing a gravel bar with a brown bear that's chasing salmon while you drift beads for trout is just something you can't replicate. Although a large chunk of the fishing is accessed via float plane, jet boat, and even helicopter, some areas are also road accessible. In terms of species, trout in Alaska are not like in most other states in the US or even Canadian provinces. In many places, there's a combination of native and introduced trout species. Finding brown trout from Europe alongside rainbow trout from California in the Colorado River is the norm, for example. Non-natives don't compete with native species in Alaska. The primary species of concern is the rainbow trout, and they can reach exceptional sizes. In some places, rainbow trout are somewhat stationary, while in others, they migrate great distances. Steelhead are also present, especially in southwest Alaska and Kodiak Island. Lastly, Alaska is also home to native cutthroat trout. They aren't targeted as much as other species and are often more incidental when caught, but as everywhere, they're more than a happy accident. The logistics for an Alaska fishing trip aren't easy, but the effort can pay off with a trip you'll never forget. Some of the most impressive and acrobatic rainbow trout I've encountered were in Alaska, and I'm always plotting ways to get back. Flies are very effective for rainbow trout in Alaska because they eat eggs, flesh, and mice for a large portion of their caloric intake. Beads are perfect for imitating eggs, while flesh flies are very easy to tie. The other reason for using flies is the ability to get past other species. Alaska's rivers are often full of salmon, grayling, and other species too. Targeting specific feeding lanes that are most likely to hold trout is very effective when fly fishing here. Casting spoons is the go-to method of fishing rivers for many Alaskans and visiting anglers. It works well for rainbow trout, but you might have a hard time not hooking salmon and other fish when the action is hot. Back-trolling in rivers with spoons is also a great approach. The other preferred method is bouncing eggs and egg sacs on the bottom. Rainbows feed voraciously on eggs, and the real thing is hard to beat. While you might catch trout in the early spring and late fall months, trout fishing in Alaska is mainly a summer game. That being said, the Kenai River even offers up winter fishing in mild years. Plan your fishing trip for June, July, and August when the weather is best. The days are long and you can literally fish into the night. My first king salmon in Alaska was caught just before midnight and it was still light outside. September and October also offer some incredible trout fishing. The pre-winter timing brings some of the largest migratory rainbow trout to hand for dedicated anglers, but the weather can turn sour with snow, rain, and cold. Flights are more difficult to time with weather, but the summer travelers are long gone, so you can chase monsters in solitude. To go trout fishing in Alaska, every angler needs a fishing license. The remote nature of the fishing doesn't mean anglers are exempt from laws. I've seen game wardens use far-off landing strips to reach remote places for simple license checks. Make sure to get your permit. For rainbow and cutthroat trout specifically, anglers can keep 2 fish daily and have 2 in possession, with a slot limit of 11 to 22 inches. A limit of 1 steelhead per day and 2 in possession also exists. You can only keep 2 steelheads per year, however, and they must be 36 inches or longer. I suggest you release these special fish whenever you come across them. While these are the general limits, special regulations are sometimes implemented on specific waterways. Salmon are far more regulated than trout in Alaska, but anglers should always reference the regulations before going fishing. There's no other U.S. destination as wild and remote as Alaska. If you want to experience some of the best trout fishing on the planet in a place where bears, wolves, and bald eagles are your neighbors, Alaska is the place for you. One taste of the wilderness in this state and you'll be planning the next trip before leaving. What are you waiting for? Start planning your getaway to the last frontier.